What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Top 10 Commander video. This time I want to talk about the top 10 most fun commanders to play against. Now, I've had a few people bring this up in the comment section that I've made lists about the most fun commanders to play, but I haven't really talked about, well, what's fun to play against. And I think without a doubt most people would probably say group hug, so expect to see quite a bit of that here in the top 10, although there are some different strategies that are also fun to play against. But before I get into the video, first I want to remind you that most of you who are watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. It does help me out quite a bit, so I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Let's start it out here with number 10. This might be a bit controversial, but I've always personally enjoyed playing against Nekusar the Mindraiser. Now, there's a bit of an asterisk that we could apply to a lot of these commanders because the more competitive you build around them, the less group hug-like the strategy becomes, and the more miserable it is to play against. But casually, I would say that Nekusar is a very fun commander. There is a clear win con with that strategy. It's wheeling a bunch of cards and dealing more damage to your opponents. But card advantage for everyone at the table is always fun. It helps to accelerate the game, and when you accelerate the game, it makes it easier for everyone to get off their spells. Might even be a bit more chaotic because of that. Nekusar has just always been an unusual strategy, and I find that personally enjoyable, even if I am taking a ton of damage for the cards that I'm getting. And then number 9, we have Kenrith, the Returned King. Kenrith is a political commander. Kenrith can be a friendly commander to play against. Also kind of an asterisk next to this commander because the more competitive you play around Kenrith, the more brutal that deck can be. But still, there has to be something said here for building a political, even a group hug deck around this kind of commander. All of those abilities can benefit each of your opponents in the same way that it can benefit yourself. And the variety that you have there, I think Kenrith can be quite enjoyable. And then number 8, we have Corona False God. This is one of my personal favorite commanders of all time. And I think when you're playing against a deck, if part of their strategy is giving you their commander so that you can make a deal, maybe attack someone else, I think that's pretty fun. It also benefits tribal decks because you get to give all your creatures +3/+3. While Corona has never really been a powerful commander, it was meant for a multiplayer casual experience. So if we're talking about what really shines in casual, it's group hug, it's politics, and you get that here again with another commander in Corona. And then number 7, we have Edric, Spymaster of Trest. Now here is another political ability. You're attacking other players and getting card draw for it. But for the most part, I think it just makes a pretty good political control deck, and more of a combat focused one as well. It's just the most fun whenever you can reward everyone at the table for acting in a certain way. So if you're going up against the Edric deck, you're not going to dread this commander because you're getting card draw. And then number 6, we have Braids, Conjurer, Adept. Now, very different from the other Braids, the Braids that's banned in Commander. Blue Braids will reward everyone. You'll get to cheat into play spells, pretty much accelerating the game. Now, Braids isn't always a friendly deck. Braids can sometimes be the kind of deck where you're just cheating into play things like Eldrazi's. But I think for the most part, kind of like with Nekusar, the quicker the game is, the more enjoyable it is, the quicker people pull off their strategies. So the usual games where someone might be behind a bit, someone might be struggling to get off their spells, Braids will help them out a bit. It's one of the benefits of group hug, I think, is just having everyone at the table enjoy something about the game. And we also get that here with number 5, we get Quain, Itinerant Meddler. Quite an underrated commander option, I think, but what you have here is essentially a temple bell that gains everybody life. There's not really a clear win con here outside of just maybe decking yourself out. So you're just going to have Quain here draw you a bunch of cards, and that's always fun. If you get card draw off of an opponent's commander, chances are you're going to have a pretty decent time. You're going to get to your lands if you're missing land drops. So definitely one to maybe take it easy on if you can deal a lot of commander damage. Just don't go after the one who's rewarding you. And then number 4, we have Jared, Carthalion, True Heir. This is another commander that I think is quite enjoyable, but there isn't a group hug theme here with this commander. This is more of a political deck again, dealing with the Monarch. So if you are the Monarch, you get to draw an additional card at the beginning of the next end step. And that, believe it or not, is often fought over quite a bit. So if you get that extra bit of card draw, it means that you're going to stay ahead of your opponents because that's an advantage that you solely possess. You're going to see another commander on here that deals with the Monarch, but I think Jared Carthalion offers a bit of a challenge, which is something you should look for too in an opposing commander. You just don't want to go up against a Teletubby. You know, you want a commander that can actually pose a threat to you sometimes. And I do appreciate that with Jared Carthalion, but the Monarch is one of the most enjoyable things that you can play with in a game. It's very unique to multiplayer, and there's a ton of cards that now synergize with it. And then number 3, we have Zedruu the Great-Hearted, another incredibly enjoyable commander to play against because it's not always about hurting your opponents with Zedruu, kind of like with Kenrith. Sometimes you're going to use those abilities to benefit an opponent. You could give them a permanent that helps them out. You can give them a permanent that will make it easier for them to stay in the game. And as far as politics go, this was the main political puppets commander. I mean, this commander's all about making deals, which is quite enjoyable to be on the other side of. And then number 2, we have Queen Marchesa, another challenging commander at times, but you do have the Monarch mechanic, making it quite fun, making it very addicting to attack your opponents who are the Monarch, just to get that extra bit of card draw. Queen Marchesa being a challenge of keeping the Monarch, usually going to involve some type of pillow fort strategy, or just anything that's going to make it easier for that player to get the Monarch back. Everything I said about Jared Carthalion is true for Queen Marchesa. And before I go into number 1, let's talk about some honorable mentions. Feldegriff can sometimes be a political commander, could be a group hug commander, but I just think for the most part it doesn't really do enough, and has really just been more of a joke commander. Selvala Explorer Returned can also be a bit of a group hug commander, while also being a bit more competitive if you want to play EDH. Selvala can be a pretty solid one. Grismold the Dread Sower is another one that's kind of friendly. You will get tokens out of the deal, even if the whole goal of that deck is to make Grismold even bigger and deal commander damage. What is often going to be considered fun is whenever you're given an advantage off of your opponent's commander. And same thing could be said with another newer commander here, Belby, Corrupted Observer, getting more mana by dealing damage to your opponents. And then number 1, we have Kinios and Tero of Meletis. Very fun group hug commander that just helps your opponents out in more ways than just one. You will give them extra card draw and you will give them extra land drops. The reason why I think this commander is the most enjoyable to play around with is because it does help you out with 2 resources that you will need the most in a game, card draw and land drops. If you don't get either, you're probably going to have a miserable time. If there's a negative to Kinios Atero, it's that you maybe don't have the most challenging commander to go up against, but that being said, there's a lot you can do with card draw and more mana, so never underestimate that deck. So anyway, let me know what you think about this list. Let me know what some of your favorite commander options to play against are. I can already anticipate a lot of group hug commanders, but let me know in the comment section below. As always, subscribe, like, comment, share, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. Void here signing off. Have a wonderful day.